Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role-players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this main house production. Here on Merely Role-Players, we improvise stories for your entertainment and ours. And we use role-playing games to keep the story going places even we can't see coming, because as theatrical people, we're all about maximising the drama. This episode is part of our current main house production, Vigil, Cold Snap. In this production, we're playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat. So please take your seats in the main house. Tonight's production is about to begin. Vigil, a Merely Role-Players main house production. Cold Snap, Act 3 of 6.
I'm Strat, and I play Brier, the Monstrous. Brier is a shape-shifting Fey Guardian of the Rosebrier forest. They take their jobs very seriously, but can get a little distracted if there's mischief to be made.
I'm Josh, and I play Ginny Greenteeth, the Spellslinger. In the Dark Ages, soothsayer Ginny was chased from her village under suspicion of witchcraft. Now, many centuries later, she is the proud owner of a local tourist attraction and gift shop in Sherrydown.
Hi, I'm Chris Starkey, and I play Cameron Jarvis, the Wronged. Cam's parents and sister were killed by ghouls when he was just 10 years old, while on a camping trip near Sherrydown. Ever since then, a Doom agent has been secretly training Cam to hunt and kill monsters.
I'm Nat, and I play Gwynned, the Divine. Gwyn was once a shieldmaiden of the triple goddess, the Morrigan. After interfering with one of her schemes by rescuing a mortal man, the Morrigan banished Gwyn to live life as a duck in what became Sherrydown's duck pond. Now released from her curse thousands of years later, Gwyn is trying to forge a new life as part of the local National Trust team, but is finding it difficult to stay under the radar.
This is a protected forest, and that status needs to be reviewed every now and then. Brier has quite a lot riding on this, because Brier has an investment in this forest remaining protected. The four of you see, in the stone circle, two bodies. Brier recognises these two as Baron Oak and the Holly Duke.
We need to head back to Brier's home. There's ghouls heading there.
I attempt to go into a trance and see this frosty enemy.
Every single strand of its fur is frozen solid with permafrost. Its antlers are made of solid, transparent ice. It has the form of an ancient Irish elk.
I come out of my trance, and I'm cold to the touch from having even seen this creature through a vision, and I breathe out frosty breath and shiver. My hair is sort of filled with frost, which I managed to shake off, and I look up, or Ginny looks up at Gwyn and says, "Something awful is coming. Something terrible is going to happen to the forest. Any chance you can fly any quicker?"
Gwyn has started to hold. I think when she started shaking, Gwyn was. Her hold on Ginny was very solid anyway. It was very secure, but she started to hold her tighter in trying to be more of a comforting kind of way. And that comfort, I think, when she comes out of the trance in a frosty way, it kind of manifests in her. She's just trying to hold on to her and keep Ginny warm, or help her warm back up again as we're flying. And about how far away are we now, do we think, from the tree?
About halfway from the Grove of Oddities to the tree.
All right, well, it's risky, but it sounds like we've got to go for it. So she looks down to Brier and to Cam and says, we'll see you there. And I am going to attempt to teleport, holding Ginny.
Yep, so this is a roll plus weird.
5, 6, 7, 8. So it's not ideal.
I'll leave it to you. Do you both appear in the wrong place, or are you separated in the flight?
I think as we get closer to the tree, perhaps one of the ghouls because we're not flying above the trees necessarily, we're flying through the forest, right? So I am having to duck and weave and kind of spin, like to go super fast as well. It's probably quite disorientating for Ginny, kind of like that hyperspace sickness, kind of like ugh, as she is ducking and diving and weaving and spinning through the vines and the boughs. And I think she's so focused on getting to the tree at speed that as we get a little bit closer, one of the ghouls possibly sideswipes. So I think we get knocked and separated, but she manages to use her magic to push Ginny, continuing in the right trajectory safely, so Ginny gets there, but Gwynned is taken out and sideswiped before we get there.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Huge.
And so the angel wings move, the teleportation move, what it actually looks like is just your flight speeds up, right? You just zoom off and go incredibly fast through the trees.
Yeah, like before we start, there's a kind of a pause in the flapping, and then it's like one giant flap, and it's like a torpedo kind of going, wings folded back straight like a missile.
Fantastic. And yes, within sniffing distance of your goal, from a tree, from the treetops, a ghoul leaps and takes a wild slash at your wings. And yes, you have to project Ginny onwards to the goal, but you yourself, Gwynned, are borne to the ground and roll across the ground in a bundle with this ghoul. Meanwhile, Brier and Cameron, as Gwynedd and Ginny torpedo off towards the tree, Eric the inspector stumbles out of the forest, following the same general path as all of the fleeing wildlife. He is muddy up to the knee, he's lost his clipboard, but still bravely holding onto his glasses, and one of his arms is covered in frost that doesn't seem to be melting even in the dappled sunlight. He just sort of stumbles out of the lee of a nearby tree and props himself up on it and says, "Well, that's certainly a new thing to see in this forest."
Whoa, boy.
I don't think Brier would be too interested in helping Eric. The Fae and the forest are in danger, so
I'll just shout over my shoulder as we gallop past then. I'd head northwest. Bye. I just want to sort of whisper into Brier's ears whilst we're galloping along. Well, not really whisper, but say, "Are you scared, Brier?" And he knows I'm serious because I called him Brier, not Tink. Are you scared?
there is a snort comes from the horse, which manages to convey the affirmative.
Don't be. Use it. We're going to kill these little shitters. You and I together. They're all going to die. And there's nothing to be scared of. If you feel a little bit of terror, use it. Become stronger. Kill them. Kill them all, Brier. This is your home. They've killed your family. I've killed them before. They go down easy. Like breaking a melon. Don't be scared of them.
I think at the end of that, there's just a very large whinny from the horse, and the pace picks up.
And as if on cue, ghouls leap from 2 nearby trees, one from either side of the path that you're taking, in an attempt to tackle Cam from Brier's back. What do you do?
I would like to react by, rather than him getting bundled off of Brier's back, I would like to buck, just to throw him off of my back so that the ghoul kind of sails over and Cam has a chance of landing and preparing himself rather than being blindsided by it.
Cam, you are bucked from Brier's back. What do you do?
I do sort of like a combat roll as I sort of hit the ground, come up on one knee, and as I stand, I've got a bloody great axe in one hand and a shotgun in the other, and a big smile on my face. I say, "Let's dance, pretty boy."
And the ghouls flump to the ground, having missed in their tackles, to the point that they just look like 2 bundles of empty clothes, which then slowly inflate and rise, and the top swivels, but the trousers don't bother until they're both facing you, Cam.
I start to laugh, and I start walking forwards.
Ginny.
My official name is Granny Torpedo, please.
You were being carried at blinding magical light speed through the forest, and for the final leg of this journey, you were instead magically yeeted towards the tree.
Yes, flung. Nobody tosses a granny.
Oh yeah, canny toss your granny through the woods.
First musical number.
Yay!
Hey!
I think when I'm released by Gwyn, I think there's a moment of, oh shit. But I take it in, or Ginny takes it in her stead as she's flung forward, like an Olympic diver, just spreads her arms out to the side. And I'm going to summon wind energy via my magic ability to essentially give me a bit of an underdraft to slow my descent so that I can land rather than splat into a tree.
Like an air brake.
Bingo. Kind of like if you've ever been, skydiving, but you're just in a centre with a load of air being blown at you, whatever that's called. So just being held aloft by this gust of wind underneath me, which is coming out of my hands, slows me down.
And Strat, can you describe the situation that Ginny finds herself in?
Oh, sure, yes. You're at the centre of the forest. Brier's tree is one of those really big, thick, kind of malformed trees. Have you ever seen Fern Gully? It's that big, like really thick and weird kind of tree.
Gnarled and twisty.
Yeah, really gnarled. There's loads of carvings in it, runes so old that even you don't know their meaning, and lots of like crudely drawn faces and figures and figures with antlers and all sorts. And there's a giant kind of knot at one side that's you'd know was the entrance to Brier's tree, to their home. You'll have been there before. You'll have been inside the tree.
And I think I probably skid and land a little clumsily, but certainly not messily, following my rapid descent, and land right next to the tree and just lay one hand on it to calm me.
And all is quiet here at the tree at the moment.
I turn around to see where I've just come from, hoping to be able to hear duck wings or horses' gallops or shotgun blasts.
I think you're probably too far to hear horse hooves. I think you can probably hear sounds of movement beyond what small woodland creatures could make, crashing in the undergrowth. It's a bit difficult from here to work out exactly what direction it's coming from, but you could head in that direction and see, investigate further.
I think, Ginny definitely turns, grabs a handful of components out of her apron in preparation, and begins to sprint as quickly as she can do back in the direction she's just been flung.
Gwyn.
Yes.
As you roll out of this dive, there is a ghoul, again, reforming on the ground, the clothes filling out with smoke, with shadow. What do you do?
So I'd mentioned before about her flaming bow staff. She doesn't have a specific flaming bow staff, but if she's in the forest and she reaches out to a tree, it gives her a branch that kind of twists into the right kind of shape and build to actually function. So as she'd been hurled and tumbled through the forest, she kind of sticks a hand out as she's recovering and grabs a staff and manages to just about scrabble to her feet, and her wings kind of fold away into nothingness because they're not needed right now. The tree branch kind of twists as she spins it around her head and forms into a solid staff, and the ends kind of start to glow with embers as she kind of glares down the ghoul.
And are you still in your National Trust gilet?
I think the wings won't have torn it per se. They probably would have manifested through it and then manifested back through it as well. So yeah, it's probably a little restrictive though. So she might remove it in a moment of kind of this is really very inconvenient. You know, I was just learning how to do these inspection things, and I thought it was going very well until you turned up.
The ghoul cowers slightly in the face of that, and a voice emanates from the hood. Sorry and everything, but he doesn't want you at the tree.
At that, she does raise an eyebrow and says, well, I suppose we better make this quick then, shouldn't we? And I'm going to go kick some ass.
Great, yeah. So you're swinging at it with the smouldering bow staff. So roll plus tough.
Which is 2. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wahey. When you kick some ass against something that can fight you back, the default thing that happens is you deal your harm to each other. Mm-hmm. But because you've rolled a 10 plus, you also get some sort of extra effect off the kick some ass list. Mm-hmm. That can swing things a bit more in your favour. So which of those options would you like?
I don't have time to be messing around. I want this thing done with so I can get back to the tree, so I'm going to inflict terrible harm.
Fantastic. The ghoul charges headlong at you, and you can see, with glinting within its sleeve, the blades of craft knives, Stanley knives, butterfly knives, flick knives, all sorts of small blades that could cause like a serrated cut like you've seen on the Holly, Duke and Baron Oak. Mm. Your bow staff slams into it for whatever harm it does plus 1.
So it does 4 harm total.
Oh, good grief. Yes, you obliterate it.
Sit down.
Jinkies.
Yeah,
what does that look like?
As she lunges towards it, she spins it around her head and uses the momentum to sweep underneath it. To sweep its humanoid legs that have formed underneath it to lay it to the ground. So it takes some harm as it falls, and then the momentum still carries on, and the staff just kind of loops back round and smashes straight through it. But as it falls to the ground, perhaps with the knives in its hands, it's tried to grapple at her to try and stay on its feet or try and retain some purchase. So it's kind of scraped down her legs with these knives a bit as she's kind of stepped in closer to smash the staff straight through it.
Yeah, as you sacrifice your footing slightly for the killing blow to end this quickly. So it does manage to score down one leg. You feel the blood running down there. But the flaming staff, the flames from the staff drive out the shadows. And does the staff smoke, or is it just a pure clean fire?
Oh no, it's a clean fire. It's holy fire, darling.
Holy fire. And the clothes that form the physical form of the ghoul are incinerated by this holy fire. There is nothing of this creature left. You are going to take -1 ongoing on any roll that would involve fast movement from that wound on your leg.
Okay. And then she's going to start heading in the direction of the tree.
So I think you probably meet Ginny coming the other way.
Well, that one's done with. How's the tree?
It's all right, my love. It's okay. How are you? Oh, your leg is looking a bit gammy. What's happened?
It'll be fine. Let's get to the tree and wait for the others and see what we can find there. We can always heal up there.
I was just a little bit worried about Cameron and Brier, but if you think they've got it under control, then we'll go to the tree.
Gwyn kind of nods, thinking, if whatever this is does not want us by the tree, then I want to be by the tree.
Ginny sees the intensity in your eyes, agrees, and sprints back the direction she just came.
All right, lovies. It's me, Matt, your compere, just reminding you in the interval that audience participation is not compulsory, but we do encourage everyone to boo the ghouls. I've got a date for you to pencil into your calendars. I say pencil in because, nothing's certain or predictable at the moment. But if you're allowing yourself to look forward to things, here's something to look forward to. Blackshaw Theatre's first live production in ages will be on Saturday the 3rd of July in a circus tent in South London as part of the Wandsworth Arts Fringe. Blackshaw is Merely Roleplayer's sister company, so lots of the same people are involved. The play was written by Strat, who I'm sure you're enjoying in this production as Brier, and directed by Ellie Pitkin, who you'll remember from her role as Percy Byron in Vigil Playtime, and Jeff Goldblum in Dr. Magnet Hands. The play's called Trouble at Sea, a Miss McSkimming mystery, and it's a sequel to the first Miss McSkimming mystery, which you can find on the Blackshaw Arts Hour podcast. I'll put a link to that in the notes for this episode. If you enjoy it, then you should definitely come see Trouble at Sea. Once again, that's happening on Saturday the 3rd of July in South London as part of the Wandsworth Arts Fringe. Now, while I go call beginners for this next scene, here's a taster of another podcast production you might enjoy. Omen Investigations also uses Monster of the Week, but while we're here mucking about in the English countryside, they're jetting off to secret tropical islands full of cyborg dragons and the like. While that's going, please start making your way back to your seats in the main house for Vigil, Cold Snap, Act 3 of 6.
Attention, new agents. This is me, Dr. Byron Brimstone, Director of the Omen. That's the Office for Occult Monitoring, Examination, and Negation. I'm here to give you a short intro into the adventures of the Omen Investigations team. Join us on a comedy role-playing podcast set in the modern world, where 3 agents travel the globe to deal with demons, cultists, and conspiracy theories. Follow the exploits of Koala Jackson, an amnesiac Australian with a dark history.
Yeah.
Annabelle St. John, a gun-sticking girl from the deep south.
Is it a gun cult or is it a pony cult?
And Dr. Martin, a disgraced former professor from Sweden.
I mean, I am from Sweden.
If you like listening to people search for monsters, aliens, entities from beyond the void, and other such hoo-ha, then you should check out Omen Investigations on all good podcast apps. Brimstone out. Dolores, remind me why we're podcasting our top-secret operations again.
Those are funny, Mr. Brimstone.
Right.
Brier and Cam, a little way away, further away from the tree, through the forest, there are ghouls either side of you. Ghouls to the left of you, ghouls to the right. two in total. One looks at the other and points at Brier, still in horse form. That's the one. And they begin to close in on Brier. What do the two of you do?
So Brier, after bucking Karen off their back, will have skidded to a halt and stomped around. And at that, in the blink of an eye, there's no longer a stallion there, but a large, muscled wolf Briar's thinking back to the days when wolves roamed the countryside of mainland England, and decides that it's time they came back. Its hackles raised, and the only response is that like deep guttural kind of growl for the back of the wolf's throat. It's going to give a little glance at Cameron and then just leap claws first at the nearest ghoul.
Roll plus tough.
Okay, I got plus tough too. Oh, that's a 12!
Hey. All right. Which advantage would you like from the kick some ass list?
Give Cam +1 forward.
So how does what you're doing give Cam an advantage?
I would like to jump claws first at the ghoul and like drive him to the ground and just be like clawing at him quite thoroughly. So it essentially nullifies any advantage they had from attacking together. And I think perhaps they're also a little surprised at the sudden ferocity of what had up until then just been a horse.
Great. How much harm do you do?
I do 2 harm, which ignores armor.
Great. It does 2 harm as well. So as you barrel into it, both of its arms, both of its empty-looking sleeves come up, and you feel the pierce and slash of several tiny blades at your belly as you come down on this thing like a ton of bricks. And you shred its clothing, its outer shell, and you see the smoke and the shadow of the ghoul itself bleeding out and snaking away in a small, low-lying, foggy cloud through the undergrowth. Cam, what do you do?
Seeing this, I feel quite buoyed by just seeing a fucking great wolf just rip horrible ghouls to pieces. So I quite casually just stand in between the ghoul that's nearest me and Brier as it's sort of like heading towards Brier's direction, and just backhand swing an axe in its face, I think.
Roll plus tough.
So I've got Know My Prey, where I get a +1 ongoing when I'm fighting the monsters that caused my loss.
Yep.
Which are ghouls.
Nice.
And I've got a +1 just from Brier just now, so I've got +4 to this roll. Okay, here comes the first failure of the game, boys and girls. Even with the +4, I bet you I roll snake eyes. I bet you. Oh, no, I didn't. That was an 11. 15 total. And I'm going to do terrible harm as well. So as the ghoul sort of leaps towards Brier, I sort of bisect it with a swing of, like quite a casual swing of the axe, and just sort of look pityingly at it. Like, not even pityingly, just like disdainfully at it, like it wasn't even worth the hassle. How did these cause me so much trouble in the past?
Yeah, so you swing the axe, and as the axe is biting through its cloth shell, it twists in the air, redirecting the momentum of its leap at Brier into a wild slash of its knifey sleeve across your chest. For 2 harm, less any armour you're wearing.
I have 2 armour.
No harm to Cam.
I just sort of smirk.
Yeah. And how much harm does your axe do?
That's 4 damage.
Oh, this one is, again, you've destroyed its outer shell. The clothing, the ragged now scraps of cloth flump to the ground. But again, you see the smoke and shadow that is the true ghoul within the shell hiss away through the undergrowth, not yet destroyed. And you hear the two of you as you're seeing this smoke and shadow writhe away. Could you help me, young man?
I turn round. Is it Eric I see before me?
It is Eric, and there is a ghoul standing with its blade-filled sleeve at his throat, standing behind him, using him as a shield between you and it. And it points with its other bladed arm at Brier, at the wolf. Just give us him. Give us that one.
I look over my shoulder at Brier and I turn to face the ghoul, and I just casually take off the motorcycle helmet and put it on the floor, and I just say, let him go, or you're next. And I just try to, like, freak this fucker out.
If I let him go, you'll kill me anyway. Give us that one, and I won't kill him.
Hey, man, what's your name?
Eric?
Eric.
He says, trying to move his throat as little as possible while he speaks.
Great. Eric, duck. And I shoot my shotgun at the sort of head of the ghoul's sort of like hoodie.
Roll plus tough to protect someone.
I've still got my +1, so +3. That is a 13, boys and girls.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So you protect them. You'll suffer some of the harm they were going to get, potentially, but you also get to pick an extra option.
Great. I'm just going to have all the impending danger is now focused on me.
Great. Eric ducks. I think he takes, like, some scoring scratches down one cheek from the blades.
Sure.
But they're not, they're superficial, they're not fatal. And he drops to his knees, and the shotgun blast shreds the hooded top of the ghoul. How much harm does your shotgun do?
That's 3 damage.
Once again, you see the hoodie, the tracksuit, and the shoes just flop to the ground in pieces as the smoke and the shadow of the true ghoul hiss and writhe away through the undergrowth.
Eric? Come here, buddy. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
He tries to get to his feet and just stumbles. His legs turn to jelly.
Wolf walks over and sits next to Cameron and cocks its head a little bit.
Brier, do you know this guy?
Wolf nods.
Can you do something about him? Or have I got to, we've got to bring him with us? Can you put him somewhere safe?
Wolf very slowly, sadly nods.
Thanks, Brier.
Kind of gets up and starts walking towards his tree and kind of indicates that they should follow.
Eric, you're going to come with us, okay?
Were you talking to that wolf?
Eric, you just got to shut up, okay, and just come with us. We haven't got time for this. Yep, there's a big wolf. Don't worry about it. You're having a really bad dream, man. It's really, really bad.
I'm sorry. Roll plus charm.
Oh, here we
We're
go.
all famously good at this.
Oh, fuck off. Okay. So I rolled 1 6, a 2, and my plus. So that's 7 total plus 1. So that's 8. 8 I rolled for charm. What do I get for that?
They'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it.
Well, then it's a bad dream.
or that he needs to come with you.
Hey, you know that thing with the knives for hands? Eric, are you listening? I'll give him a little slap round the face.
The youth that you shot.
Yep. You know he had like nasty knives, didn't he?
He touches his cheek and looks at his fingers and sees them bloody.
Yep, it did that, didn't it? Now, there are more of them out here. Do you want them to kill you?
Do you promise that you'll keep me safe from them?
I'll promise you that they'll not want to see me anymore. Is that good enough?
He sort of mutely nods.
All right then, Eric.
And gets shakily to his feet and trails after you.
Come on then, big boy. You've got this. Fuck my life. And I sort of just walk off, hoping Eric follows me.
Who's up for another Ernie flashback?
Yay!
What activity, what sort of training is he making Cam do this time?
I think PT, physical training.
Okay.
Bit of CrossFit.
Yeah, so burpees, crunches, press-ups.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
And how old's Cam this time?
A bit older now. I reckon he's about 15, okay. 16. He's trying to do that thing, and if you watch the first series of Arrow, where he does that thing where he sort of like jumps up. He's holding a metal bar and he sort of like
the
leaps
fish
up.
ladder.
Yes.
Salmon ladder, sorry.
That's the salmon ladder. He's doing Cameron's trying to perfect that.
Amazing.
He's been trying for like 3 years. And he's getting there.
Is he like one of those because teenage boys develop in different ways, right? So is he one of those teenagers that stays completely lanky until suddenly like early 20s he bulks out, or is he one of those teenagers that's like unnervingly gets muscular?
The latter. He's sort of like one of those rugby playing kids who just has always been huge. You know, he's crazy levels of testosterone.
And Ernie is standing square, arms folded at the bottom of the salmon ladder, still in his suit. He's a few years older. He's even stockier, even more lined in the face. And he says, CJ, do you know why? No matter how many ghouls you cut up, they keep coming back.
No.
It's because all you're doing is you're cutting up the vessel, the clothes they're inhabiting. You're not cutting the real ghoul underneath.
Right. So, how do I do it then?
Ghouls is creatures of magic. They can only be hurt by the magical and the holy. Any normal blade won't cut them. You got to enchant it or have it blessed.
I jump off the salmon ladder at this point. I just go, what are you talking about? Ghouls I get. Monsters I get. Holy magic. Come on, Ernie. You've been talking to me about this crap for 5 years now, and I'm starting to piss me off, frankly.
You're going to have to learn about this stuff sooner or later, CJ. Whether you want to become a practitioner yourself or not, you're going to have to understand it in case anybody ever uses it against you.
When he says CJ, just the knuckles around the bar that I'm holding just whiten a little bit, and I no longer sort of mask my distaste for the shortening of the name, but rather than the fury that the 11-year-old Cam would show in his face, it's just the calm, icy stare I just give Ernie, dead in the eyes.
And no matter how much Ernie tried to get this through to Cam and to teach him some rudiments of magic, he never really picked it up. Like, he never really took to the sort of the basics. I think you sort of overall got a grasp of the fact that it exists and sort of the broader frameworks of it. Sure. But you never developed into somebody who's adept at just sort of doing simple spells yourself.
I would like to, in this sort of like berserker state, the use of CJ's got him into. I'd like to attempt the salmon ladder one more time, but do it absolutely flawlessly by using no limits for the first time.
Yeah, do it.
And just channel the anger.
So roll plus weird.
So +2 for me. So he's talking about magic, but this is my weird. Oh no!
Yay! Finally,
it's a 5 plus.
This is the best
7.
time to fail because it's in the past.
Yes.
Still a 7.
So that's a 7.
In this flashback, Cam does indeed push past his physical limits and achieve the salmon ladder for the first time. But did it hurt you? Did it exhaust you? What was the consequence at that time?
It exhausted him. It's the first time he's had to sort of do an adrenaline surge like this before, and so he is shattered at the end of it.
Cam has trouble getting down from the salmon ladder after this.
He sort of collapses off of it, I think.
And Ernie has to he doesn't quite catch you like Prince and Princess style, but he does have to sort of guide you to the ground to make sure that you don't break both your legs as you fall off the salmon ladder.
Mm-hmm.
and back to the present. When Ginny and Gwyn return to Brier's tree, the carven, gnarled tree at the heart of the forest, they're not alone. There are 4 humans there, and Gwyn knows them. They are Robin Goodfellow's second-in-command, Adrienne, and 3 other members of the National Trust survey team. Adrienne is addressing the other 3. Look, I'm not going to point fingers, but between us, we have lost the inspector. So we'll work out who's to blame for it later, but we can't let him be roaming the forest when night draws in. So priority is finding him. So this is our muster point, and we're going to fan out from here. Stay on your walkie-talkies, channel 4, and search in pairs, and we'll comb the forest, zigzag through the sectors I've marked on your maps until we find him. Got it?
I have a question.
Yes.
So obviously Adrienne is Fey folk. The other 3?
Adrienne is not Fey folk.
Oh, she's
They're
not Fey
all
folk.
human.
They're all human. Oh, shit. Okay. And did I see, or did Ginny convey to me the direction of the frost?
I think when we arrived, she certainly would have told you all the information.
Yeah. And I know that was kind of the direction that the inspector was in as well.
Yep.
So I think as they're approaching, and Gwyn overhears this, she's like, "All right, the inspector." Right, and walks over to the group of them, casually plants the staff into the ground on the edge of the clearing, so they don't see her carrying a flaming staff, and it just kind of turns into a tree again. Oh, she's left a gilet as well, hasn't she? That's somewhere in the forest. She's done a terrible job. Oh, Adrienne, I'm glad I caught you. I was I was just with Brier and the inspector.
With who?
I was just with Robin. It's his little nickname that he lets me call him. And I was just with him and the inspector, and things seem to be going well. So so good work, everyone.
You know where he is?
Yeah. So he was they're just back having a little look through the marshy flats.
Oh, bloody! We've been trying both of them for the last hour.
Oh, well, you know what the signal's like around these parts on those mobile phones of yours. Nobody ever abides by my schedules. They were supposed to be back at the station for lunch. We got worried. Well, you know what Robin's like. He got a bit excited because some of the spring growing berries were in season, so he thought he'd show the inspector, and we had a little snack, so they're running a bit late for lunch.
Oh, well, they could have let us know. Fine, okay, we'll false alarm everybody, stand down. We'll head back to the station. You know that the National Trust station, which is in the car park on the edge of the Rosebrier forest, if they were to head back there from here, it would take them straight into the path of the frost.
Yeah, about that. This is my friend Ginny, by the way.
Hello, my darlings. My name's Jenny Greenteeth, local business owner. Thank you for acknowledging me.
Ginny owns some of the attractions on the edge of the forest. You know Ginny, right? She's the one that looks after the stones and the rings and the
grove of oddities.
You didn't have an Adrienne magnet last time I visited.
I'm sorry, what?
I looked for a magnet in your gift shop with my name on it, and they didn't have one.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Amy. I'll make sure that we get one of those in at some time in the future for you, love. But make sure you do drop by. We're closed today, I'm afraid.
But no, you're not closed, are you, Ginny? Because Robin was going to take the inspector there after they were looking at the marshy bits, and they were going to go and he was going to show him the gift shop and the stone circles and all of that as part of the experience of our forest.
Oh, of course, my love. I'm so sorry. My mind, I am very old, you see, and I haven't really got me wits about me. It's been such a long day. Where am I? And she looks around doggeringly.
Gwyn puts her arms around Ginny and just kind of like, without missing a beat, just still looking at Adrienne, just like, yes, there, dear. Now, we're just here to check in on the tree. So that looks nice for when the inspector comes here. But I think it would be great if, I don't want to interrupt your schedule or anything, but wouldn't it be nice if we could all meet up at the gift shop later?
Roll plus charm.
Yeah. I have a -1. This is for manipulate someone, isn't it? Well, that's a 5 on the dice.
Hey.
And a -1 from the stats. As you're speaking to Adrienne, you see over her shoulder, emerging from the woods into the clearing, another group of ghouls, 5 strong. Oh. And they linger on the edge of the clearing and sort of shuffle and are looking at each other as if they're formulating a plan. What do you do?
On spotting them, Gwynned just gives up trying to actually convince anyone of anything. It's just like, oh, for goodness sake.
Don't worry, my love. I'll deal with them. You just go and deal with the nasties.
And just runs straight towards them, grabs another tree, and spins the staff towards them. But yells behind, you really should check out the gift shop. Oh, that is a 6. I do have 2 toughs. That does take it up to 8.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9, it takes a little while for the banishing to take effect. They have time to make a couple of actions.
Oh God, this is going to be painful.
I just turn to the group of mortals and just say, just bear with us a moment. I've just got to deal with some local undesirables. And I'd like to stick my hands into my component apron, pull out some dust and some crunched up golden ferns and throw it in a line in front of me and cast my wind wall to separate the ghouls from Gwyn. So they are. That is a 10 total.
Amazing. Okay. What does the wind wall do?
So the ground between Gwyn and the ghouls suddenly, there's like a tiny localized like tornado that picks up between the two of them, between them all, and the leaves and the grass and any branches that are on the floor just begin to be picked up by this whirling dervish that forms into a long, say 8 foot high, 20 foot wide wall with just this very, very localized maelstrom of chaos and carnage. Could it go through the ghouls and push them backwards?
I feel like a wall of wind could do that, sure.
So it just appears right in front of them, and they would all just be pushed backwards. Their arms and legs flail outwards as they're pushed backwards forcefully by this wall and all the associated debris and natural shrapnel that's been picked up from the ground, bustling and wafting around, and it forces them all backwards in a line.
I just want us all to appreciate the immensely long list of tags that this attack has. 1 harm, magical, barrier, close, 1 armor, obvious, loud, forceful.
All of those things. So I think it does 2 harm.
Sort of spread between them. Which means that a couple of them are basically just blasted apart. And this is magic, so it blasts apart the internal true form of the ghoul as well, scattered to the winds. But 3 pick themselves up. And next to you, Ginny, Adrienne and the National Trust team are just looking to you, to the Wall of Wind, to what Gwynned is doing, going, what the fuck? This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Roleplayers. It stars Chris Starkey as Cameron Jarvis, Natalie Winter as Gwyned, Strat as Brier, and Josh Yard as Ginny Greenteeth. Sound design for this production is by Natalie Winter, and the theme music is by Alex Pankhurst. I'm Matt Boothman, and I play the supporting cast, as well as editing and producing this episode. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Roleplayers is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on. Sorry and everything, but he doesn't want you at the tree.
Is it Errol? Is Errol a ghoul now?
Matt, what does it smell like? What does the ghoul smell like?
I admit there is some overlap in the voice.
Sorry.